First challenge is penalty shootout, where we put influencers and the fans and me, the host, Cecil G, against each other to see who's really about this ball life.
Wait, I'll take you. Don't Robbie. No, I'll take you on.
Go on. Here we go.
So listen, I'm here at the High Food Bank, and what we're doing here is we're raising money for this great cause. Look at all this food. They've got this thing called Walk the Line, right, where you walk around the borough, isn't it? And lots of people do it to raise money, but obviously with the whole lockdown, can't really do that. What we're gonna do, we're gonna get like a couple of treadmills, and we're gonna walk the same distance, but we're gonna walk it in a studio, and we're gonna try and raise as much money as we can. You listening out there?
It's the first time we've had someone or an organisation offer to come and do something for us. I think that's so exciting.
And I think it's a good idea to help other people.
I've had to use the food bank myself a few times and I'm really grateful for it.
So please donate. Hi and welcome along to AFTV News Daily. Don't forget, actually, as we just saw that ad running there, Walk the Line, that's taking place on the 1st of December, right? We're going to be doing a live broadcast starting at 4 p.m. and we are trying to raise as much money as we can for the Islington Food Bank. Those guys there doing a great job, right? So we want to give them a big boost. We're aiming to raise at least about £5,000, so help us out with that. The link is in the description if you want to get involved in that. And we're going to be walking the distance of walking around Islington. That's what Walk the Line is. Normally you'd walk around Islington, but obviously with COVID and stuff like that, we've decided to do it on a couple of treadmills. We've got a North London derby flavour to it, right? So we're going to be walking with Tottenham fans against them, right? Who can walk the line the quickest, right? So you have some Tottenham fans on one treadmill, Arsenal fans on the other treadmill. There's going to be lots of banter. It's going to be brilliant, right? So make sure you check it out on the 1st of December. That's Tuesday, the 1st of December from 4 p.m. We're trying to raise as much money as we can for the Islington Food Bank. Those guys doing a great job. And of course, in this time of COVID as well, it's needed more than ever. So make sure you show your support. Right, we've got a great show lined up tonight. I have a very special guest. We are playing Wolverhampton Wanderers tomorrow at the Emirates. It's a massive game. So I thought, why don't we bring on a Wolves influencer, a very big Wolves influencer. He does a great Wolves channel. And we've got him on here today. We've got Dazzling Dave from Dazzling Dave TV. How you doing, mate?
Absolutely fantastic. Really pleased to be here and making my debut today on AFTV with yourself.
Yeah, look, you've got a bit of support there. Look, you can see there. Come on, you Wolves. You know, you've got a few coming up there.
Wolves fans are fantastic. Yeah, that's brilliant, that is. I'm just looking down the comments. Fantastic.
Yeah, no, brilliant. Now, listen, we're looking forward to the game tomorrow. It's a massive game. Massive game. Arsenal taking on Wolves at the Emirates. Last year it was a draw. The season before it was a draw.
And the season before that, I think.
And the season before that. So as I've been looking at it, I say it looks like it's got draw written all over it. But who knows? Who knows what's going to happen in the game? What sort of shape have Wolves been in this season?
Well, to be fair, Robbie, it's we've been a bit hit and miss this season. We've played in patches, as you probably know. I mean, we don't tend to score goals in the first half very much at all. It's an ongoing kind of like joke at the moment that we don't need to start watching until the second half. But we did start really well. The first game against Sheffield United, we scored 2 goals in the first 6 minutes, and it was like, okay, so maybe this year we're going to be scoring plenty of goals in the first half. And apart from the Crystal Palace game where we were 2 up in 27 minutes, all the goals have been in the second half. But Wolves have had a lack of goals. We've only scored 9 goals this season, and that's the second lowest, I think, in the top half of the division, which you know, we are trying to improve. I think Nuno's trying to tweak it, which is why we played the 4 at the back. Against Southampton, we did have 20 shots on at goal, 9 shots on target. Their keeper playing the blinder. 1 goal ruled out for offside from Jimenez, and we got the equaliser from Pedro Neto. So very up and down start to the season. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. Now, I was going to say, really interesting what this guy says, RD Holyfield. He says it will be a painful game to watch. Two pragmatic teams firing blanks. And you say you've only scored 9 goals this season in the league. That's the same as us. You wouldn't normally associate that with Arsenal, but that's the same of us. 9 goals as well ourselves. And again, Mikel Arteta has been accused a lot of that as sort of, being a bit pragmatic, as well as Nuno's been. So
yeah, well, that has been a little bit of a criticism. I mean, I'm quite an optimistic Wolves fan. Obviously, like any football fan, fans at times can be fickle. I try to remember that like 4 or 5 years ago, 6 years ago, we were in League One, and look where we are now. And now people look at Wolves and think we're an established Premier League team. We had Europe last year. We didn't finish till very late. We only really had a couple of weeks off, and then we're up and running again. There's been transfers out, transfers in, players trying to make the mark. So I think we're a little bit the way I look at it as a pragmatist is that we're in a bit of a transition and we're starting to settle down. And then you've had the international breaks. I mean, come on, 3 international breaks already. And I think the same for Arsenal and probably the same for Wolves. Now we can have a settled period with the managers and the coaches working with the players. It'll really start to see how the team settles down and develops, because when you've only got a squad for 2 days a week, it's very hard to get any consistency, isn't it?
It's going to be a great game. Some great matchups in the game. The first one is obviously the 2 strikers. Right now, again, both strikers, that two brilliant strikers in Aubameyang and also Jimenez, but both of them misfiring so far this season, isn't it?
Well, yeah, that's true. But Jimenez has actually been involved in 5 out of the 9 goals that Wolves have scored. He's been in and out of games. I thought he didn't have his best game against Southampton, but whether that was a change of formation to the 4-4-2, and when he did have Diogo Jota playing alongside it, they had a really good understanding last year. Obviously, Jota being sold for what was, a reasonably good fee. I think he scored again for Liverpool today.
He did score again today. He scored a great goal again today. He's on fire.
I know, and I keep having all the Liverpool fans popping up on my channel going like, why did you sell Jota? Do you want to buy him back off us for 80 million and rubbing it in? And I'm really pleased for the guy. He's playing well. He's playing in the great side. He's getting the goals, but he does tend to run in patches, Jota. So the interesting thing will be what happens when he doesn't start scoring. But in terms of Raul, to me, he's like Aubameyang. He's a bit like the complete striker. He holds the ball up. He's good in the air. He's got good vision. He's got an eye for goal. And I remember this will please you guys and all the Arsenal fans watching this. Tottenham away last year, when we beat them 3-2 down at their lovely shiny stadium. And Raul wasn't really in the game. And he scored the winner. He popped up, and strikers can tend to do that. We went absolutely ballistic, and we for a brief moment we started to dream of Champions League football, and then we kind of fell away a little bit. I think the break came well for Tottenham because they had a chance to get players back, didn't it? But that's a bit like Jimenez. He can be out the game for a bit, and then he'll pop up with a goal.
Yeah, how many goals have you got this season?
Jimenez, I think he's got 4, and he's been involved in 5 at the.
Still more than Aubameyang. He's still more than Aubameyang. Yeah. Aubameyang's been very quiet this season. I mean, I'm hoping tomorrow. That he's really going to come to the party, because he has been very quiet this season. And the interesting thing about the 2 teams is that they both seem to play the same formation, don't they? They both seem to play with 3 at the back. As you said, quite pragmatic. And Nuno is a manager that's known to be very pragmatic, isn't he?
Well, yeah. Wolves have built their success the last few years on being very, very quick on the counter, being very hard to break down, waiting for the right time, and then springing literally into attack and causing all sorts of problems. When at the end of last season, Nuno talked about cycles, that we'd been on a 3-year cycle, and now we're beginning another cycle. And this is why I say I think Wolves are in a little bit of a transition period. He wants us to score more goals. That hasn't quite happened yet. He wants us to have more control of the game in terms of possession and not sit back as much. But as it's panned out so far, because, again, another player that we lost, Matt Doherty, who knew that wing-back position to a T, knew when to go forward, he knew when to come back. With Johnny Otto as well on the other side, being out with until January with a long-term injury. We've lost both of the wing-backs from last year. And then Marcel, we brought in from Lyon. He was injured, so he was out. Semedo coming from Barcelona, and it's taking time for the players to adjust to the system, I think. But considering we haven't particularly played that well, apart from the Crystal Palace game where we were really good, it's still Wolves' best start to a top-flight season in many years.
Well, it hasn't been a great start to the season from us. But the funny thing is that when you look in the table, it's very even. I think you're about a point. You're about a point ahead of us. So everything just suggests that it's going to be a very, very even game.
Yeah, I think it's going to be quite an even game, to be fair. I think it's a funny one, isn't it, this one? Because it could be deadlock with both teams playing the same the same formation, and they could cancel each other out, or one of the teams could really hit the fire button and score lots of goals. From a Wolves point of view, I keep thinking one of these days we're going to beat someone by a big margin. And I think probably as Arsenal fans, you're used to always being up there, top 6, top 4, challenging for trophies. And I think probably from your point of view, you're waiting for for it to ignite for you guys as well, aren't you?
Yeah, definitely. By the way, Leeds have gone apparently 1-0 up. Is that right? Hold on, let me see. Or has it been this? Yeah, Leeds are 1-0 up. So Leeds 1-0 up against Everton. It really is saying Pickford made a mistake. I don't know. It really is a bit of a crazy season so far, and we've seen a lot of really crazy results. I mean, I'm looking at your team, and obviously the players that worry me, I fear, of course, is Jimenez. Definitely is one of them. The other player is Adama Traore, who last season gave us a hard time, always gives us a hard time with his pace and power. But again, I've been quite surprised that a lot of times when I've watched Wolves, he always seems to be on the bench.
Yeah, carry on, Robbie. Sorry, you were going to say something there.
No, I was saying, why does he always seem to be on the bench?
Well, that's a really interesting one, isn't it, at the moment? I think it came really... The first year at Wolves, he struggled big time. Last year was a real breakthrough season for him. The 2 goals he scored against City away was kind of playing through the middle. He's very strong and he's obviously very, very quick, and he's got a lot of skill. And he averages more dribbles per game than most players in the league. He tends to play on the right-hand side of the 3. Obviously, there's a bit of a debate going on that he hasn't signed his contract extension at Wolves. And there's been debates on whether he hasn't been starting because, he's been a bit unhappy and stuff like that. But he did start the last game. But I think teams are doubling and trebling up on him. Also, we had Daniel Pedence that we bought from Olympiacos. He's really small guy, very low central gravity, very tricky. He's really good and direct. And Pedro Neto, he's almost like a mini Jota in the same mould as Jota. And I think that's one of the reasons that Wolves let him go. He's a young lad. He's got an eye for goal. He's very direct like Jota. And he's sort of been, Nuno's been preferring to start with Pedence, Neto and Raul up front. But there's been a bit of clamour from Wolves fans for him to start Traore. He did start because he's been coming on and not really making an impact in the games, 20 minutes here, 15 minutes there. I thought in the last game, he was a bit quiet in the first half, and then he started to really show his worth in the second half. I would like to see him playing more centrally, maybe behind the front 2, because then it gives the defence, does he go left? Does he go straight on? Does he go right? And he's got more space to run into. Be interesting to see how that one develops, but he is a game changer when he's on and he's a bit of a confidence player as well, Traore.
This one of these comments there made me laugh. This one here, it says Wolves equals the Portugal national team.
Yeah, well, we do get that a lot. Portugal,
I saw that game, right? The game when you lot played, right? You've got like a third kit, and it looks like it's Portugal's kit as well.
Do you know what?
That game that we played, he was wearing that. I was killing myself with laughter. I go, you are officially Portugal.
That's right. And you know what? Fair play to the marketing team of Wolves, because they've played literally last year. We had a green shirt for Mexico and a bit of Ireland. And then this year, they've basically brought out the third kit, which is pretty much identical to the Portuguese kit. And you know what? It's actually outsold the first kit. It's sold more. It's outsold the third kit, the first kit. This one. Very popular.
What have you made of Arsenal? Well, and when you look at Arsenal, what are you fearful of?
Aubameyang, definitely. Saka's really good. Willian, when he's in the team. Pepe's out suspended, isn't he?
Yeah, Pepe's going to be out of the game. He stupidly got himself sent off last week.
Yeah.
So he's going to be out. I'm hearing actually that Willian, there was talk that he'd be out as well with an injury, but he did train today.
So he might be in.
So he should be in. And that Saka, who was also, there was a lot of talk that he might be out as well. It looks like he could be back in the team as well.
Yeah, well, to be honest with you, Robbie, I've always had a bit of a soft spot for Arsenal. Going back many years, we were out the Premier League for many years, and Arsenal's the one team I always used to like. If there was a game on, I always wanted Arsenal to win. As a obviously not on Sunday, but I've always had a bit of a soft spot for Arsenal. And when we've played there, I think we played the last time we were up in the Premier League. I went to the away game. I think it was 1-1, and we were sent down to 10 men, and we were singing, and we only had 10 men. We were right down the bottom at the time. I don't know if you remember that game.
I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's good that we've come up this time, and for the first time that we've been promoted, obviously since the last few times we've been up and down under the McCarthy eras, we did it 3 years. We actually felt this time that we could go and actually compete, and that's what we seem to be doing. And I'm not worried about us going down or anything like that. We are looking up to try and get into that top 6, top 4 places. Whether it'll happen this year, I'm not sure. It's very competitive league this year, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. There's some great comments coming in about Wolves. This one, sporting Wolves.
Yeah, I mean, it's fair enough. And you know what? As Wolves fans, we love it. We lap it up. It's like, yeah, bring it on. We've got a lot of Portuguese players. We've got Uncle George Mendes that pulls a few strings for us and stuff like that. And we've got some talented guys. But don't forget, we've also got Connor Cody, the Wolves captain, up until the last game, because he got done by track and trace. He played 122 consecutive games for Wolves, and he had to miss out. He was absolutely gutted. I was on a charity thing last night with the Wolves Foundation, sleeping out, raising money to raise money for the homeless, and then Connor Cody, along with some other Wolves, came on a Zoom call, and he was talking to us, and he was saying he was absolutely gutted that he had to miss the last game, and obviously the 2 England caps that he got. But we've got Connor Cody, we've got a young lad called Kilman that's broke through in the descent as well. He could potentially, he's young English. He's got Ukrainian parents. And then we've got Willy Bolly. He's French. Semedo, Traore Spanish. So it's not all Portuguese.
You've named about 3 non-Portuguese players.
Yeah, we do have a lot, to be fair. And I think that's the reason.
And the manager's Portuguese as well. Don't forget.
Yeah, well, Nuno, he's literally Nuno is God in Wolverhampton. He's almost like a philosopher. He's very calm. He talks very calmly and astutely about things. It's very, very. He comes across like a philosopher or a professor sometimes, Nuno. When he speaks, we really do listen. And what he's done with Wolves, and and how far he's taken them. And I think there was a point where he was linked with Arsenal, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was. Yeah, last season before Arteta came in.
Yeah, but I think he's really invested into the project at Wolves, and as long as Fosun, our owners, keep backing him, and we'll keep moving forward, hopefully we'll keep hold of him.
what's the style of Wolves? What's your style? What do you think? Come tomorrow, what system do you think you'll play, and what do you think will be the style of play against Arsenal?
Do you know what, Robbie? At the moment, it's really interesting to say because you don't know what Wolves team are going to turn up in the first half. But I would imagine he will switch to 3-4-3. We were very 3-5-2 last season, and the style of play this year for Nuno trying to tweak it is 3-4-3, which is basically to try and be a little bit more offensive. I would imagine he'll go back to the 3-4-3. That system can change to 3-5-2 if need be. And it's interesting because he did play the four at the back, and I think Wolves do need a plan C because sometimes I think being in the Premier League a couple of years, teams start to work you out a little bit, don't you? So you have to mix it up and have another option. So seeing us play with that four at the back, I think we played like 3 systems against Southampton. It was like a 4-1-2-1 or whatever it was at one point. He changed it around a bit. So, but I think definitely he'll start 3-4-3. Generally in Wolves games, they tend to work their way into the game for the first 15 minutes. If they can get forward and attack, get a goal, we do. And then get to half time and then come strong in the second half. What I do hope, and I hope that they do, we come out really firing tomorrow, because if we can, I think Arsenal, in the current situation, I think if we get on the front foot and we can get in the league, then we'll get something out of the game. If Wolves score first, we very rarely lose. I think we've lost 1 out of something like 30 games when we've scored first. Wolves have at the last 9 wins, they've all come with us not conceding. When we've conceded, we've failed to win.
We need to get that early goal in.
So yeah, we struggle when we go behind.
All right. Well, you know what? A few people have asked for this, and Vic Nish has asked for it. He said, "Do a combined 11." So let's do a combined 11.
Okay.
We'll do it as a 4-4-2, right? Which is always the easiest way when you're doing a couple of combined 11s. But let's do a combined 11, right? So let's start off with a goalkeeper. Ooh, 2 good keepers.
Well, I'd definitely argue for Patricio. There was I watched something on a Match of the Day thing, or was it Sky, where he actually made it into the Sky team because of, we don't concede a lot of goals. He doesn't make a lot of mistakes. He made 1 mistake against Newcastle away when he got beat with a wall and was conceded a late goal. He's a great shot stopper. He commands his area. He can play the ball out. So he's Portugal's number 1, one of their highest caps. So I'm going for Patricio.
You know what? I like Leno, man. Leno, look at last week, against Leeds. With that 10 men, he saved us. He's done that a lot. He's done that a lot with us. But all right, I'm going to give you Louis Patricio, just because of his experience. All right, so I'm writing these down. I'm going to give you Rui Patricio in goal. All right, let's move to right back.
Well, it's hard for me to argue this one because we've got obviously we'd probably be looking at Semedo at the moment, wouldn't we? And
just with Semedo, you bought him from Barcelona.
Yeah. So it's hot, and we've got quite new in that position. So I can't really do it. I mean, I'll give you an argument. He played for Barcelona. He's won championships.
He played for Barcelona. They got rid of him
after 5 seasons or 3 seasons or something like that. But he's still very early. So he's very attacking, but he isn't destroying.
Let me just stop you there. It's Bellerin. Bellerin is going in. You're not going to give me a good argument to it. Bellerin's been having a good season as well so far.
Yeah.
So I'm going to put Bellerin in. Sorry, I'm overruling you on that one.
No, I agree.
You have Patricio. Right, we're going to 2 centre halves now.
Well, Robbie, I've got to definitely go Connor Cody. 3 reasons for him. Ever present for the Wolves, is the club captain. He's passionate. He always communicates well. He doesn't score many goals, but then we never put it. He always stays back. The goal he scored against England, for England, fantastic finish. He's a real ambassador.
Chats a lot.
You can't overlook. Cody's got to be in there.
He never shuts up, does he?
No, he talks all the way through the game. Fantastic player.
All right, I'll give you Connor Cody, but I want also Gabriel in there as a centre half. He's been excellent so far since we brought him in. I think one of the best signings, in the defensive positions this season. I suppose you could talk Willy Bolly, but I think Gabriel's been better this season.
Yeah. Bolly's good. He glides around like a swan, does Willy Bolly. He just seems to go ghost past people, very calm. But yeah, I think it's only fair we have one each there, to be fair, Robbie.
All right, left back.
Well, we've Johnny. I would argue for Johnny Otto if he was fit. Absolutely stocky, brilliant player, but he's not playing at the moment. We've bought Marcel from Lyon. We've got Ait-Nouri that's coming, but again, not settled. So I think you're going to win this one.
Kieran Tierney's going in there for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, excellent player, Scottish international, brilliant player for us. All right, so we got our 4 at the back. Let's get our 4 midfielders now. On the right-hand side of midfield.
Well, I mean, you could look at all of Wolves' midfield, Neves, Moutinho, Dendoncker, and put an argument for all of them. But you've just, although he's getting on a bit now, 5'7" of football heaven, you've got to have João Moutinho in there.
Moutinho's more central, isn't it? I'm on about all right. We'll put Moutinho.
I'm just on about positions generally.
You go more central. All right, so you could have Moutinho.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. He's a top quality player. But I'm gonna, even though this player's injured, he's injured at the moment.
Johnny Otto back now, though.
Yeah, I guess. All right, I'm not going to put him in because he's injured. I was going to put Thomas Partey in there, but I guess he's injured. So, Moutinho. And who else was you saying you've got? I mean, we've got Ceballos, we've got Xhaka. It's not really...
Ruben Neves for his wonder goals.
Neves. He's not been having a great season, though, has he, Neves, so far?
No, he's been a bit hit and miss, to be honest. Moutinho's been a little bit hit and miss as well, but he played really well in the last game. Neves, when he's on it, he's on it. He sprays the ball around. He's got incredible... vision. He's been playing a little bit too deep for me for Wolves. I'd like to see him get up there, but also one of the most underrated midfielders. I think most Wolves fans will agree with this. Is Leander Dendoncker. When he tends to be in the starting 11 most games these days. He's absolute box to box midfielder, and so I'd like to see both Neves and Dendoncker in there. To be fair, I don't know if you're going to let me get away with that though, Robbie.
Well, we're going to central positions. You've already got Moutinho. Who else are you going to have there? Who are you going to have next to him in the central?
I'm going to go with Dendoncker just because he's box to box and he'll complement Moutinho better. I don't like Neves out though. To be fair,
I mean, you see, without Partey, I mean, it's good to put Xhaka there.
Yeah,
but he's not really. But all right, I'm going to give you Dendoncker.
Okay.
Am I going to give you? Actually, no. Hold on a minute.
Oh, come on! You just said yes. I'll let you have the left.
I think I'd go Xhaka over Dendoncker.
You would?
No, sorry. I think I'd go Xhaka over Dendoncker.
You want to flip a coin on that? You got a coin?
Right. No, it's my show. We're going Xhaka.
All right, okay, then.
Right, we go Xhaka. I'll go Xhaka. Sorry, I think Xhaka over Dendoncker. I think he's a bit more experienced as well. All right, he's not box to box, get something down the pitch, but he's been having a decent enough season. Sprays the ball around, good passing range. I go for him. All right, let's go right wing.
Okay, well, you can't argue against Adama Traore on this. Come on. I know we don't really play that formation, but if we're going to be playing formation, you've got to have Adama Traore on the right side.
Yeah, I agree. All right, yeah. On the left hand side now, I'm going to have Saka.
Yeah,
I'm going to have Saka. I'm sorry. Yeah, we definitely Traore.
I like Saka. He's a really good player.
All right, and now we got the 2 up front. I think it's quite easy, the 2 up front, isn't it?
Well, Aubameyang and Raul Jimenez, isn't it?
Aubameyang and Jimenez, definitely. That's a good 2 up front. That's a great 2 up front. So that's the 11. That's the starting 11. So let me go through it. right? So in goal, Louis Patricio.
Yeah.
Right back, Bellerin.
Yeah.
Connor Cody, Gabriel, and Tierney.
Yeah.
And then we got Traore on the right-hand side, Saka on the left-hand side, with a midfield of Matinho and Xhaka.
Yeah.
And up front, we've got Jimenez and Aubameyang. That's a strong team.
It is a strong team. Can you imagine that?
And do you know what? That shows you how even the two teams are, because what's that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Wolves players and 6 Arsenal players.
Yeah, and we've got a Portuguese bench as well behind that.
You probably got bloody Ronaldo on the bench, knowing you lot. You know what I mean?
There are rumours that he's coming to see his career out at Wolves. You know, we've basically, you know, why not? Can you imagine that? Yeah.
Talk about this. Talk about Dendoncker, because there are some people saying here, like James saying, Dendonker's overrated. Tell us about Dendoncker, because that's again, that's not one of the obvious players that we always look on as Arsenal. I mean, I always look at Neves, I always look at Matinho. They're the sort of flair guys.
Well,
tell us about Dendoncker.
You see, the thing is, Neves and Matinho, they are both fantastic players, very similar in a lot of ways. And Dendoncker is one of these players that tends to go under the radar. He's got a real engine on him. He runs and runs and runs. He breaks down attacks. He will get forward. He'll get forward with late runs into the box. He's probably the most. I mean, Wolves fans watching this agree with me or disagree with this, but he's probably our most offensive, forward-running midfielder, and he just tends to complement. He either tends to complement when he plays alongside Neves or Matinho. Matinho, you know, he's one of my favourite players. Absolutely love him, but he is at that age now where he's getting towards the end of his career, and his legs are probably going a little bit. And say Neves hasn't been quite on it at times, although when he's on it, he can really spread the ball about. I've got to tell you now, Robbie, he is due. Neves is due a goal from outside the box or a free kick, and it's due. It's well overdue, so it could happen tomorrow if he does.
Aubameyang is well overdue as well, and so is Lacazette if he plays. They're overdue. As a matter of fact, the whole Arsenal team is overdue a performance, because we haven't really seen a performance from Arsenal. But despite all that, you look at the table, and that, by the way, that Leeds game did finish 1-0 to Leeds.
Good win for Leeds.
So, sorry?
Good win for Leeds.
Yeah, so, you know, you look at it at the moment, the top 4, Leicester in 4th place on 18 points. So Wolves are 4 points off of it. We're 5 points off of it. It's a crazy season. Not a lot separates the teams right at the top, you know, and obviously, you know, that's even Everton, who a lot of people remember Everton a few weeks ago, they were top of the league. They've dropped down now into 15th on 16 points, you know, so it's a crazy season. It's a crazy season. I mean,
a combination of the short break, no fans in the stadium, and all of these, and lots of international breaks, that's kind of making these results. That 7-2 for Villa against Liverpool.
Yeah, I think it's a combination of a lot of things. I think, first of all, there was no pre-season.
No.
So you see a lot of teams have not hit the ground running at all. You know what I mean? Even teams like Liverpool today, I mean, to me, you know, they're very lucky to even get a point in that game. I mean, you know, Brighton missed the penalty as well, missed some easy chances. In that first half, it could have been a different game, right? So, you know, you see them struggling. They haven't had a pre-season. All right, City won big today, but they've been a bit all over the place as well. Man United have been all over the place. We've been all over the place. You know, you guys haven't hit the ground running. And I think a lot of that is to do with the fact there's been no pre-season. I also feel that, you know, obviously no fans being in the stadium changes it. I mean, I've been to Molineux, for instance. Great atmosphere you guys have there. Now the guys are having to play in front of nobody. Same at the Emirates. You know what I mean? You know, maybe the Wolves players tomorrow are not going to be fearful of coming to the Emirates because there's no fans. There's no, you know. So all that comes into play. I mean, look, Goodison Park is normally quite a hostile place to go to. I've been there many a times. Leeds turn up there and get a win today, you know? And I'm not sure if we would, even last week, right? I'm not sure had there been fans in the stadium at Ellen Road last week and we were like down to 10 men, I'm not 100% sure we would have been able to hold on. So, you know what? The dynamic has really, really changed.
Do you know what, Robbie? It's interesting. A lot of the Wolves fans were saying on social as well, and also on my live watch-along stream, the Southampton game when we were back to 1 o'clock and we were dominating, and they were saying if the fans, we'd have been in the stadium, the fans, we would have sucked that winner into the net. And I think you're right. I think it is affecting things. I was on that Zoom call last night for the fundraiser, and Cody came on, and one of the questions was from the people to Cody was, how are you missing the fans? And he basically said the players are missing them more now. Initially, they just wanted to get back to playing football because of the break, and now they're really starting to feel the fans, and they're desperate for the fans to come back. And sooner rather than later, we get back to full stadium, because football is, you know, it's all about the fans, isn't it, really? And the atmosphere. It's not just about the game. It's about the build-up to the game, the pre-match, the after-match, the during the game. And the fans make it, and the players are missing it massively. And
you know, let's hope when we are back that they and also the the football authorities and all that appreciate the fans. You know what I mean? Because we get to see that now that it's just not the same without fans, is it?
No, it's not. It's not, mate. It's what makes it. It's, you know, it's in your blood, isn't it? It runs through you for match days, and you know, it's been a long. Look, I know that you were a lot in tier 2. You were saying you'd sold out, didn't you? Something like 2,000 tickets in next to no time.
Yeah, we've got fans coming in for our game against Rapid Vienna next week Thursday in the Europa League, and 2,000 tickets went on sale this morning, because you're only allowed to let 2,000 in because we're in tier 2, and they sold out within 20 minutes. Right? I mean, I know someone who got one. I didn't get one. You know what I mean? But I know someone who got one. But only 2,000 fans are going to be in the stadium. Now, I was talking to Kevin Campbell, an ex-Arsenal player. We had him on the show last week, and he was saying even 2,000 players is good. You know what I mean? He goes, as a player, you'd still rather that than no fans in. And you've seen some managers complaining. I think if I remember rightly, he's the Leeds manager. He's complaining, saying that I think they're in tier 3, so they're not allowed to have 2,000 fans. So he's saying it's not. He's saying it's not fair. He's saying that you shouldn't be able to have some clubs having 2,000 in, and some clubs having none in, which, you know, shows you that even the 2,000s will make a difference. I mean, what tier will Wolverhampton be in? Yeah,
well, the whole of the Midlands conurbation, you know, we're all currently in tier 3.
Right. So you wouldn't be able to have any fans?
No, but there is a review, isn't there, on the 16th of December. Cases are starting to go down. So in 2.5, 3 weeks' time, hopefully there's a chance that it might go down to tier 2, and Molineux can start to get some fans through. But, you know, I'm probably going to be the same for you. Can you imagine how emotional it's going to be, Robbie, when the first game that all of the fans are back, that first game back, how emotional it will be?
It's going to be looking like that's going to be a long time. I don't see all fans being back in until the following season. It's great that we got talks of vaccines and stuff like that, but you've still got to roll that out to everybody in this country. And I just can't see how they're going to be able to get a full stadium in, particularly away fans. They're not going to be no away fans.
I don't see any away fans, no. But I think there is a window of opportunity, and maybe that's just me being as optimistic, that we might be able to get some games in April, and maybe
with a full stadium, a full. Yeah, I can't see a full stadium.
Maybe not. You may be right. Maybe. But can you imagine Wolves and Arsenal playing each other in the FA Cup final in May and went at Wembley? There'd be a chance of that, wouldn't there?
Maybe. Cleve Swords says it's my birthday. Can you give me a shout out? Shout out going out to Cleve Swords. Michael says getting a ticket to a football game would be like getting a PS5. Well, I've got a PS5. Right, I managed to get one of those, right? So, which actually we're going to be giving away on AFTV next week. So look out for that. But no, those tickets just went like that this morning. You know, everybody trying to get hold of one of those tickets. Obviously, 2,000 is nothing, isn't it, for a club like Arsenal?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's interesting, isn't it? Because Arsenal's got such a big stadium, and then obviously teams with much smaller grounds can still get 2,000 in the. I mean, but that obviously in the EFL, they probably get more of their overall percentage of their revenue from obviously match day revenue and ticket sales than obviously a club like Wolves or Arsenal. A lot comes from the corporate and the sponsorship side and the TV money, doesn't it? But it still makes a difference. Okay.
Jack here is asking us both a question. Where do you think Arsenal and Wolves will finish this season?
Do you know what? I'm hoping that Wolves can improve on 7th place from last year. If we can get go up a place and get top 6, that would be fantastic. Arsenal are always going to be there or thereabouts for the top. It's hard really to say at the moment, isn't it? Because
it's very difficult to say. I mean, I at the start of the season felt that being realistic, probably 5th, because I just look at there's certain teams that I just feel are ahead of us in their personnel. I'll still probably stick to around about 5th for Arsenal, although obviously I'm dreaming of a top 4 finish.
Yeah.
But it's just a weird season. I mean, I'm looking at the table right now, and I wanted to get this comment from this guy here. He said, Robbie, you check the table. If we lose our next 2 games, we're in the relegation zone. Oh, my God, he says, right? No need to panic. It's still early in the season, right? But we are in 14th place at the moment, Arsenal. 14th. That's just 4 places off the bottom 3, right? But we've got 13 points, right? A win against you guys tomorrow could possibly put us up into 6th place. That's how crazy and how tight it is at the moment. A win for you guys tomorrow would put you possibly into 5th place as well. You know, exactly. So it's at the moment it's way too early and way too congested to predict. I think, you know, obviously you can see Liverpool are going to be up there. Yeah, I still think it's even too early because Man City, for instance, who last week everybody was writing off and saying they got no chance of winning the league. All of a sudden now, on 15 points, they're 6 points behind Liverpool with a game in hand. Win that game in hand, they're 3 points behind Liverpool. So it's too early. It's too early.
I think we'll know a lot more after the next run of fixtures. Wolves have got a really, really tough set of fixtures really up to Christmas. We've got you, and then we've got, like, straight after that, we've got Liverpool at Anfield. But I'm just going to say now, just for everyone that's watching, that's the game that Liverpool's record is going. We're winning that game. Wolves are winning that game. I'm telling you now. I just don't know why we're going to win that game. That's where
their place. Amin says, Dazzling Dave, what do you think about Romain Saiss? Is he important to the team, Romain Saiss?
He is very important. He's a real character. He's a real proper character around the side. He's very versatile player. He was playing in the back 3. He's a midfielder that's again can play in the back 3. Can play in midfield. He's also played on the left-hand side from occasions. He's very, very versatile. I think as a squad player, he's incredibly important. Obviously, he's out of contention for the squad for this game because he has actually got COVID and he's in recovery at the moment. But yeah, I love Romain Saiss. He's a real joker in the pack of Wolves, a real character. But yeah,
Mikey says Wolves got rid of their best player, Jota, and they never have been the same without him. Arsenal will win. The Jota thing's funny because he didn't always start at Wolves, does he?
No, I mean, I can understand why the chap says that. I mean, I love Jota. All the Wolves fans love Jota, but last year he wasn't really getting into the side towards the end. He only scored 3 goals for Wolves last season. He scored a few in the Europa League, 3 in the league, and not that many assists. And he does tend to go on purple patches, Jota, where he scores, and then he scores, and then something happens, and then he can go ages without scoring again. At the moment, he's gone into a Liverpool side. They're obviously a lot more offensive than Wolves, and he's scoring the goals. And when he was sold 45 million, I thought most Wolves fans would say, fair play, you've given us good service. We've paid, I don't know, I can't remember how much it was. It was it was around about 10 million or something like that, for 12 million. We've sold him for 45 million. That's good business for a player that was not necessarily starting and only scoring every so often and not providing many assists. But he's kicked on for Liverpool, and fair play to him. But we've got 45 million, and Wolves are at a stage where they're having to trade their way up the table.
Okay, Kings of the Opera says Wolverhampton are a good team, but I don't see them beating us at home, especially now that we're looking for a reaction from the team. I mean, obviously, we are looking for a reaction. One of the areas where Arsenal have been poor this season has been at home. So I think every Arsenal fan is looking for a big performance out of the Arsenal team tomorrow at home. What have the Wolves been like on the road?
Yeah, we've been okay, to be honest. We did have a run of 10 consecutive games playing in the capital undefeated. But the last 2 games that we've played, we've lost at an aggregate of 6-0. So it's going to be interesting to say which one. Again, I think the fact that we've got no fans at stage, it kind of has evened it out. Yeah. All
right. Buzz Lighter says, Robbie, do you think Arsenal will start picking up more wins with fans back? Well, it's going to be hard to say. I mean, 2,000 fans.
And you can't sing.
2,000 fans, you're not allowed to sing. I mean, how are they going to stop that? I don't know. Everyone's going to have a mask on. All right, you might. Surely you're still going to. I don't really. I mean, I kind of get the singing thing because they're saying if you sing, the vapor and stuff like that. But then equally, what are you going to do? You're going to shout, aren't you? Like, if your players are going forward, you're going to be like, come on, or do it. I mean, still, as long as you've got a mask on, I mean, Jesus, why can't you sing? I think, listen, as I said, Kevin Campbell said to me last week that it makes a difference. Even 2,000 will make a difference. So you never know. It might help us. And it might be a bit of an advantage over those teams that are still going to have no fans, like what Dave is saying about Wolves, that they wouldn't be allowed to have any fans in. Games Gamma says, Robbie, do you still trust in Arteta? Yes, I do. As I said, it's still very, very early in the season, as we can see by the table, as we can see by the results that are happening. So this is still a wide open season. Not sure if this is a West Brom fan here, Dave, but he says, oh no, sorry, that's the wrong one. Let me see if where did that quote go? Well, I'm sure he's a West Brom fan because he said he's. Here he is. Damien Bell. He says, "Good to see Wolves struggling."
Potentially, you might be a Baggies fan, but really, I don't think the Baggies fans should necessarily be popping up their heads over the parapet saying anything because they haven't won a game, and they're playing Sheffield tonight. And if they lose tonight, I think they're down. So,
down already.
A team that's played 10 games and they played Fulham, didn't they? Who hadn't won, lost, and Sheffield and Baggies played tonight. I think whoever loses I mean, look at the gap that's already opening up between the bottom 3 already.
Yeah, that's a bit harsh. Max 2020 Abel says, do you think Arteta is under pressure if he loses the game against Wolves? Oh yeah, he'd be under huge pressure, I think. I don't think sacking pressure, although obviously there'll be a lot of fans saying, he's got to go and stuff like that. But to me, he won't be under that type of pressure, but he'd be under just a lot of pressure because that would be 5 games lost. And that's like, at this stage of the season for Arsenal, is unheard of. And then we've got Tottenham in the North London derby next weekend, at Tottenham. So, I think tomorrow the pressure is on Arsenal. We need a win. I mean, I think if Wolves come to the Emirates and do what they've done over the last few years and get a draw. I think I don't know. I'm speaking maybe I shouldn't be speaking on Dave's behalf. Dave can answer it, but I'm sure you guys will be happy with that if you got a draw, wouldn't you?
I don't think a draw would be obviously bad for us playing away against Arsenal. You know, and another point chalked up. I've got an interesting stat for you actually, Robbie, which I don't know if you're aware of this. If Arsenal do lose to Wolves and they don't score, it'll be the first time that's happened for Arsenal since 1908 at home.
If we lose against you and don't score?
Yeah, it's 3 games in a row that you'd have lost without scoring. That hasn't happened, apparently, for Arsenal.
Yeah. Well, listen, last week we kept a clean sheet. I don't know how, but we kept a clean sheet. So Low Boy say, Robbie, did you get a ticket for next Thursday? No, I did not. I tried. No chance, man. They were gone. Disappeared. So no, I didn't. Predictions. Sydney Sawyers is asking for. Well, let's get Dazzling Dave. He's a guest on the show. Your prediction for tomorrow?
Well, if you watch my preview, which Robbie, you were good enough to send in, obviously the Arsenal perspective into my preview, I have actually gone with a draw, 2-2. I don't know why. I just feel this. I was going to go 1-1, then I've gone 2-2, but I could see us sneaking it 2-1. But as I said at the beginning of this, it wouldn't surprise me if either side had a day, because like you're saying, Aubameyang's due. Wolves at some point are going to start. These shots are going to go in, but I'm going to go with what I've said on my own preview. I'm going to go 2-2, and if we get anything better than that, happy days.
All right. Alejandro says, Robbie, please don't have a hunch or a good feeling about this game. Every time you do that, we get thumped. All right. Now, I'm not going with a hunch or good feeling. I actually think this is going to be a very, very tight game that Arsenal nick 1-0.
Yeah.
What I've been saying. I think it's going to be a tight game. Both teams play very similar, although, I don't know. I think Arteta might have a bit more of a go tomorrow against Wolves. Not out and out, but just a bit more of a go. But it's time for Aubameyang to come to the party. Aubameyang has to come to the party at some stage. So it's going to be an interesting game. Isaac says Arsenal should go attack. You don't need creative players. I agree with Kevin Campbell. Kevin Campbell was complaining the other day that it's more of a system than it's more the players and not the system was causing the problem.
If Arsenal do go a bit gung-ho at Wolves, it might play into our hands, because we kind of like it when teams open up against.
No, I don't think we'll go. I don't think we'll go gun-ho. I don't think we should go gun-ho, but I think we need to be a bit more attacking than we've been in certain games at home, where we've kind of been a bit like how you guys played. A bit like how the other night I was watching your game against Southampton, and that first half, I mean, you looked like the away team.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until they scored that it's like it woke you up, and you could have been, that's the thing about it when you play that sort of system at home, because to be fair, if Theo Walcott hadn't have done what he used to do a lot at Arsenal and miss an easy one-on-one after he scored,
2-0.
You'd have been 2-0 down. You probably wouldn't have got back in that game. So, I look on it and I'm like, when you're playing at home, you need to be more on the front foot. Obviously, as you said, you guys are a great counter-attacking team. But I do feel that we're going to have to go for it a bit more. And I do feel tomorrow, I do think we will have a go tomorrow. Jock says Robbie is Partey in tomorrow. Now I'm hearing that Partey's out tomorrow. It doesn't look like he's going to be in the team tomorrow. Does look like Willian will be back, although that's not going to please a lot of fans anyway. But Saka is the big one. He came off. He looked injured the other day. It looks like he's been training. He should be all right. And Martinelli was actually training today. So could he be? I mean, it might probably be too early for him, but every Arsenal fan is looking for him to come back. Amin says, Dazzling Dave, how do you think that Nelson Semedo has performed so far this season? He was very consistent at Barcelona.
Yeah, I mean, he's been I think at Barcelona they played a different formation to Wolves, and obviously he's literally come just before the start of the season, and his first game he struggled in that position. I think he's got better and better every game. I think a lot of the Wolves fans have been saying over the last couple of games how good he is. He's very quick. You know, he's almost as fast as Traoré, Semedo. Not quite as fast, but he's really fast. He's very tricky. He's got an eye for overlapping and going forward. And he's started to get a little bit better defensively, but the system that Nuno changes was different to what he's playing at Barcelona. And it's taken a bit of time on the training ground for him to start getting into it. This is what I'm saying about Wolves being in this transition with our two brand new wing backs learning their way, whereas Johnny Otto and Matt Doherty had it down to a T. It takes time. I think Semedo's a great player. I think he's going to be a real asset for Wolves.
Okay. It's going to be a really, really tight game. You can see by even like the people in the comments that they feel it's going to be a tight game. And as we said, we went through the our combined 11, and our combined 11 was a real mixture of Wolves and Arsenal players, which you wouldn't have seen maybe 5 years ago. You might have had maybe a one Wolves player in there, if that. Let's go through that again. I'm going to go through that again. That starting 11, that combined 11. Louis Patricio in goal.
Yeah.
I guess that was a tight one. You know what I mean? I gave that one.
I got him in though.
You managed to get him in. He's in on experience, right? But I'm still Leno. I love Leno. Bellerin at right back, Connor Cody and Gabriel, and Tierney at left back.
Yeah.
And then we had four in midfield of Traoré, Moutinho, Xhaka and Saka, and then up front, Raul Jimenez and Aubameyang. So that just shows you how tight it is. Are you glad that Pepe's not playing tomorrow? Because obviously he's banned for 3 games.
Yeah, I mean he's an influential player. He just was silly, wasn't he? And with Arsenal, obviously, with having a few players out, that's the last thing you really wanted to happen. Get a player sent off. But yeah, I mean, obviously that's an advantage for Wolves that he's not in the team. And obviously you've got players that are coming back. Are they fully fit? Is that going to affect how Arsenal play? Be interesting to see. I'm so excited for the game because literally it's really difficult to call. It can either be a real stout chess game and be boring, or it could be a real exciting match.
Yeah. Which
one will it be?
Adam says, we're so overdue a few goals. Sorry, Dazzler. I think you're going to get spanked. 3-0 Aubameyang hat-trick.
Hi, Adam.
Mikey Cartel says, Arteta tactical mind games. Partey will play, I reckon. So he's saying that he still thinks that Partey will play, but it's not looking like Partey is going to feature tomorrow. I'd be shocked if Partey plays. And that's a big loss. Alan's asking me, Robbie, what player has improved under Arteta? Well, I think that, you only got to look at a player like Granit Xhaka. He's improved a lot under Mikel Arteta. Remember, before Arteta came in, he was on his way out, really. He's fallen out with the fans and everything like that, and he's improved him a lot. Mohamed El Neni has improved a lot under Arteta. Bellerin's improved a lot under Arteta. There's a lot of players that have improved a lot under Arteta. It's just that recently, since the season started, we haven't been firing up front. That's been the biggest problem at Arsenal. I mean, defensively, we've been a lot better. We haven't really conceded much from set pieces and stuff like that. But it's just been the fact that, we've just not performed. We've just not performed in front of goal, which has been a real shock at Arsenal because normally that's one of our strengths. So it's been a strange one. 9 Wolves 2007 said, Bellerin, are you mad? I'm sorry, Bellerin gets in ahead of Semedo. He gets in ahead of Semedo. I'm sorry. Bellerin's been good this season.
I'll let that one go is because Semedo is very new to the side and still, maybe if we had this conversation by the time we do the game at Molineux, it might be a different kettle of fish.
James Speedy says, how far can Nuno take Leeds? Leeds? Wolves.
You know something I don't, Robbie.
He's replacing Bielsa at the end of the season. Now, how far can he take Wolves?
Do you know what? I think Fosun, when they came in Wolves, I mean, people might not understand how much money Fosun have there. There's about 4 of them. They're all multi-billionaires. They own pharmaceutical companies. They've been, instrumental in some of the research into the vaccine. They're loaded. The only problem that's holding them back is the fact that obviously FFP, financial fair play, they just can't do like what Chelsea did with Abramovich and just literally, you've got to do it step by step. They've got a 10-year plan for Wolves. They're very invested into Wolves. Their aim is for Wolves to become one of the top teams in Europe and the world, and for Wolves to win the Premier League within 10 years. We're in year 4. We're already had 2 7th-place finishes. We've got to a semi-final of an FA Cup. We got to the quarterfinals, lost late on to Sevilla in the Europa League. We're in transition at the moment. As long as they're backing him and he keeps developing, I can see Wolves really starting to push that top 4. And, within the next 6 years, you've got to dream as a football fan, win the Premier League. And my dad is 82. His dream is for Wolves and me and him to stand at an FA Cup final, sing goodbye with we, and watch our team in an FA. We got within 60 seconds against Watford. It was heartbreaking for my dad. It's his little dream. So, and win an FA Cup. Hopefully we can have a run in the FA Cup this year as well. But I think there's a lot of mileage left in the Nuno reign. Okay.
You'll have some of our fans. We won the FA Cup last season. They're like, it's only the FA Cup. You see that? His dream is to that's where sometimes we need to be a bit more realistic. But listen, Dazzling Dave, thank you very much for coming on the show today. It's been absolutely brilliant. I look forward to the game tomorrow. Hopefully it won't go well for you, but that's nothing on you. We need that win. We need that win. Trust me.
It'll be great, mate. And listen, thank you ever so much for inviting me onto the channel, and for all of your viewers for being so kind to me as well. Appreciate that.
No, brilliant. They won't be, if you I could guarantee you, if you say came on Monday and you had one, they wouldn't be this kind. I know these guys. All right, but listen, thank you very much for coming on, Dave, and thank you to everybody for watching. Don't forget, Walk the Line on Tuesday from 4 p.m. live here on AFTV. Join us for that. It's a North London Derby special. We're going to be raising money for the Islington Food Bank. So get involved in that. However little you can give will be much appreciated. We've got Wash and Go matching all donations up to £2,500. So, and we're hoping to raise at least £5,000 for them. That's what we want to hit. At least £5,000 for that great charity. They're doing some great work in the borough of Islington, which of course is the borough where our great club Arsenal is. So make sure you get yourself involved in that. And I will see you guys tomorrow. So listen, I'm here at the High Food Bank, and what we're doing here is we're raising money for this great cause. Look at all this food. They've got this thing called Walk the Line, right, where you walk around the borough, isn't it? And lots of people do it to raise money, but obviously with the whole lockdown, can't really do that. What we're going to do, we're going to get like a couple of treadmills, and we're going to walk the same distance, but we're going to walk it in a studio, and we're going to try and raise as much money as we can. You listening out there?
It's the first time we've had someone or an organisation offer to come and do something for us, and that's so exciting.
And I think it's a good idea to help other people.
I've had to use the food bank myself a few times, and I'm really grateful for it.
So please donate.